My guest today is a bass guitarist, the first one in this podcast series. He started playing bass trying to conquer a girl, succeeded, shares his birthday with Wolfgang Van Halen and my son. With his band Dirty Loops, he elevates pop music to a higher level. Jack Garner, a previous guest on the show, called him a legend. So welcome to this episode, the legendary Henrik Linder of Dirty Loops.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing, Henrik?
I'm good. I turned 40, so I guess I'm officially middle-aged now.
I was about to ask that because for me, I don't know. Was it a pivotal moment? I don't know. But I did some reflection. What about you? Like what did I do before? And what am I going to do? Questions like that, right?
I did kind of a cleansing, I guess, like when I turned 40, because I got food poison in France. So I was in the toilet like 18 times or something, celebrating my birthday. So it's a new me with laughter off, I guess.
So you got rid of the first 40 years and now up to the second and third 40 years.
Yeah, I was surprised how much could come out.
Yeah, well, you're called Dirty Loops, right? For a reason.
Yeah.
No, but are you the kind of person that reflects, right? Or
I guess in a way, probably I don't talk that much about it with others, but I guess I do some self-reflection.
And can you give me a little bit of insight? What kind of questions
I
pop
don't know.
up?
It's kind of like generic things. It's just things you suck at, and if you behave like an asshole, you try to not do that in the future. So it's what everybody should do, I guess. Learn from your mistakes and try not to repeat them. So that's mostly
So
reflection.
But you have people think this is an important moment to think about goals, basically, also, right? What did I achieve, right? And
but I don't worry about that that much. I kind of I wanted to do this kind of music for a living, and with that thing, it feels like I already did succeed more than I thought I would. So I'm kind of happy with that. I want to develop as a player, but the other very superficial things, I'm pretty happy with that. Of course, everybody, all right, I want more, of course, but it's still I feel kind of rooted in that, I guess.
So about that development as a player, can you elaborate a little bit? Are those details, or are you working on big things?
No, it's more big things, things I will probably never achieve, but it's just I would want to learn whatever this impossible thing is, and then get a little bit closer to it over time, But
I heard you say that in an interview, but what kind of goals are that then?
I don't know, 3 or 4 voice counterpoint on bass, that will never happen, I will never get there, but it would be cool to get there somewhere along the way. But it's just whenever you be able to whatever do what's in your mind at a given moment, and I don't have perfect pitch or stuff like that, so I mean it's always a struggle, but it's a fun thing, and it's something that probably your brain won't rot because you keep training it, I guess.
But can I imagine, as longer as you progress more, it kind of gets more difficult to find those things, right? You mentioned one thing that's...
I don't know. I never had one of those things, I feel I'm so good at this, so I don't have things to practice on. I could list, in every field of it, I could get better technically, I could get better rhythmically, with harmony, ear training, and also feel over things, I think I lack in all of those things, in certain ways. So, I don't know, I don't think I will run out of things to practice on by a long shot,
It's funny that you feel, I kind of lack, but it's also motivation to keep on going, because it must be miserable feeling I've done it all.
Yeah, that would suck. That would be the worst thing ever. I think I will quit if it was I kind of achieved everything, and now I just like got to keep up with it to not lose it. That would all those things, like that kind of field in work in general is not for me in life, where you achieve something and just sit on it and profit from it. So
your father is a musician too, right?
He's a psychiatrist.
But Jack said he played.
He's an amateur musician.
So what does he play?
Saxophone and piano.
And as on a good level, or?
Yeah, fair. Like it's not a professional level, but yeah, it doesn't suck.
So what did he give you in that perspective of like as a musician trying to progress?
I guess it's like tools to overcome problems. You know, when it was something I struggled with, it's like, yeah, you could approach it from this way and that kind of mentality. You know, like when you had a problem, to try to like not maybe approach it like dead on, but okay, yeah, this is the part of the problem that's a struggle, and okay. For instance, like the easiest thing is with technical thing, because I think this was a technical thing. It was like when I played piano and it was like runs I couldn't do. It's like, oh yeah. Then I practiced, you know, like long, short, and short, long. So you had like every other note, like you had you were faster in between, and that kind of like helped speeding up the process, because you could practice every 2 note at that time instead of like everything at once the same way. So I guess, you know, like with that micromanaging your problems, the same thing, you know, like if you learn a standard or wherever, it's usually that if it's a hard standard, you probably don't have a problem with the first 2-5-1 that you played like a million times, but then it's like a key change in the middle of it. Then you could just practice those chords in the middle of it, and focus on the hard parts, because that's, to me, like a way to accelerate becoming better. Same thing, you know, with try to be honest with yourself with what your weaknesses are as a player, and try to fix them. I think that's like the fastest way of getting better. It should be logically, at least.
But are there any people who help you with that search, so to say? Because sometimes it's difficult to see it yourself, right? Like,
no, Aaron tells me when I suck all the time.
Yeah.
So
okay,
yeah,
your drummer, right?
No, but I don't know. It's I have some of the players I play with regularly, and you know, like you have an honest talk about it, and like, yeah, but I don't know. Like you kind of like hear when you suck at something. I think. You know, something feels.
I can't hear you suck at that.
No, but I definitely like if I play like over odd meter things or whatever. Like, yeah, it's my weakness is usually the rhythmical things. I don't know. That's my weak spot.
And it's a good thing you have a great drummer in your band, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Who helps you with it. Hey, rewind a little bit. So it was actually 100 minutes that really got you into.
Yeah,
it's funny because that it's my favorite Chili Peppers album, because I love Dave Navarro's playing also in it, and it was criticized a lot, right? That album afterwards. But so for you, that was the one that got you taking such a.
I really still love that album. So
yeah, right. It's too bad it got after Californication. Everybody was like, "Oh, that's the Chili Peppers we all want." But
yeah, I like that more.
Yeah, me too. Can you tell me why?
No, I don't really know. Like, I think those things are hard. You know, like to tell why you like something is just like, you know, like when I hear it, I feel happier than when I hear another thing. It's just like, I think that, you know, like with overall with taste in music and stuff like that, it's, I think like what I go through is kind of the same thing as a toddler go through. Like if I listen to music that I like it. And yeah, it's just like a very pure instinctive thing. It's not, you know, an analytical thing. It's like, oh yeah, I like this because it has like this complex groove, or here's this kind of chord, like, or whatever. I think it's sometimes hard, like when you try to dissect the stuff you like, because you could do it up to a point, but then there could just be like how something is phrased, and you know, this other thing that's like hard to explain, where it's like,
that's the crazy thing about that's the magic of music, also, right? It can be one note.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like, it hits the spot, you know.
Yeah. It's funny. I was in the car with you mentioned a toddler. My daughter is a toddler, and it was a song. You're the voice of John Farnham, Australian, and I love that song. And I was like singing, and she was like, "Daddy, I don't like this." So she's like, "Yeah, her feelings said that." But so there was a lot of music in your family back when you were young,
Yeah.
right? And you what I really like was the Linder brothers.
Yeah,
album.
With my brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, we played a bunch together. But he has perfect pitch, so
Yeah?
he always could pick things out.
Can you tell me how did, when you were even before that band, right? The two of you, how were you communicating with music? Like
No,
when
but
you
we
really
kind of always play like we found out that he had perfect pitch because my dad played a song on the piano, and like if he played it in another key, we're like, no, it's wrong. We'll play it in the right key.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of knew with him like very early, and yeah, we played together in a bunch of settings. Like we played horns and we played piano, and then like we played in bands together. And now he's doing other things, but I mean, he's still a really great player, and I hope he will start playing more.
There's one song I particularly like, is Alan on the album.
That's his song.
Yeah, it's for Alan Holdsworth, I suppose,
definitely.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was funny because we tried to play those things, and to see him, writing those like really complex chord progressions in real time, like when transcribing it without an instrument, like when it was 16 or 17. So I remember, I think I had a video of that, like when he was transcribing Looking Glass, Alan Holdsworth song, like in real time. And just like wrote down the chords and like, okay, here we go, now he can play.
Wow.
Of course I couldn't play it, but yeah, he could.
So how was that for you, having a brother, because he's a great guitarist, as you mentioned, and very musical, right? How was that for you? Must have been really, really nice, I suppose.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like he did ear training with me and a bunch of stuff, and I don't know, like he was actually really good at explaining how to listen to chords, like what to look for. And it's just like, I don't know, I had pretty average ear training. Like, it's just by doing it a lot that it got better. But I think learning that is also like, first you gotta be able to identify if it's major or minor. And then you can do the sevens, if it's like a major 7, minor 7 or blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Then you can start doing the upper extension things. But it's more like, when you don't hear something, try to like take it down a notch and like, what function is this chord and stuff like that. So
he was really teaching you then.
Yeah, I always had people kicking my ass. Like my teacher did as well, and Aaron and Jonah did like also, and that's a really good way to learn,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it depends on you also, I suppose, right? Because some people, if you kick their ass, they get insecure, and demotivated. So, but you're the kind of person that needs the kick in the butt.
I don't know, like I kind of like always preferred kind of the autistic way of tell someone something. Like I don't really do that to other people, but I prefer people do that to me. If there's some particular thing they don't like about my playing, I think it's like easier that they cut to it and it's like, yeah, your timing is off here. Like you don't seem to understand what's going on harmonically here. Like I like to hear it straight. I don't take that as an insult because I mean, you could say that also like with the intent of hurting someone, but if someone says it as constructive criticism and then like follows up and offers a way to work on that, that's great. Like that's what you pay teachers for.
Of course,
you get it for free from your friends instead. So, I mean, like, of course I have, like, when people have just been assholes to me, like, then it's a different thing. Then I would get probably pissed about it. But most of the time, that's not what it is. And it's just like a straightforward communication.
So you kind of get hungry, like, okay, like now I'm going to work on it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't want to fuck up the music. So.
But okay. So being pushed really helps you.
Yeah, I kind of need that. Like, I'm lazy when I'm on my own. So I always been around people that, had an inner drive. And I kind of like with practicing I kind of do, but then there's with a bunch of other stuff where I'm like a slacker.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. So tell me, if this tour ends and you're back home, and I want to work on something and you say I'm a slacker, but what makes you really actually get
deadlines? Like, if I work with other people and I have a deadline, I don't want to be the one to miss the deadline. So for me, it's been good working with deadlines for stuff.
Yeah, that really helps, right?
Yeah.
Because to find that deadline within yourself, that can be very hard, right? I mean, where is it? I mean, there's no end, basically.
For some reason, it hasn't been like that with practicing. I didn't practice with schedules and everything. It was more like spur of the moment, like, oh yeah, let's check this out. But I always had basses laying around, and I practice a lot without amps because I like to just pick up the bass and start practicing on something and not plan it. And
you have neighbors or?
Yeah, but I mean like an acoustic bass.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't sound much like it's like someone typing on a laptop is probably louder.
Different than an MPEG on a level.
Yeah. I really practice with amps, and if I do, it's usually headphones also. So, yeah.
So, but after you start working on things, or how's your day look like usually, right? If you're off tour,
I don't know.
What I'm trying to ask is is practice a daily routine of yours?
Yeah, it is, but I don't know, like how it starts. When I was in my old apartment, it was usually I slept and I had a bass in the bed. I woke up and picked up the bass, or like if I went out or something, it's just like, I don't know, if I watched a TV series or something like that, picked up the bass and did stuff, and then I figured something out and I turned it off, and like, oh yeah, it's very unorganized. It's just like, it's those like big goals. That is, oh yeah, I want to achieve this. So I have this vision of how I want to sound, but how to get there is very,
So, okay. Can you put that to words, that vision, how you want to sound, or is that too difficult?
It's kind of like abstract. It's more like an idea of how I want to sound like, but it's,
But is it in your head, right?
Yeah, but this thing would be cool to do over this, and then you could kind of like, when we record with Dirt Loops, I cheat a lot because I redo things over and over, and then I write stuff, and that's also like a way to learn new things. So like recording has also like helped with forcing new ideas. So it's very few of the solos with Dirt Loops or nothing is like improvised. It's just like I write stuff that I think fits for it, with and then I do the improvisation live instead. So yeah, and it's also like you could hear it. The live solos are like, I hear the same licks over and over again, way more than I do on the recordings. So.
Oh yeah, okay. Hey, I'm also curious. You play with Tim Miller.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was awesome. But with him, I also did that. Like I asked him a bunch of stuff, and he sent me like a bunch of PDFs and stuff he was practicing, and I just, and same with Jonathan Kreisberg. Jonathan Kreisberg had one of those things like we were supposed to do. Like we played 500 Miles High in 3, and like he did some rhythmical layering things, and I got lost, and he was like, yeah, I was really that what I did was kind of basic. I was really surprised that you got lost in that. But then he got into this thing, like where he tried to understand why I got lost in it, and he kind of figured out like, yeah, you probably should suck at 3/4 and 4/3, and I was like, it was not that long ago, but I did. It was kind of like embarrassing to admit, but then I went home and practiced that, and it was just like a really good thing to learn. Like it was a valuable lesson fucking up on stage with him and get called out for it. And he didn't do it like in a nasty way at all. He was like, he wanted to understand like why I sucked at it, and then gave me the tools to fix it. So it was, and same with Tim. I think the first rehearsal I did with Tim, it was 2 other guys, like a Belgian drummer and a French piano player, and we played the first song, and it was like this 8-bar thing, and the drummer, like, yeah, he was really good with polyrhythms and did something that I didn't get at all. And it was the first rehearsal of the first tune, and I came in like a bar too early, and then all of them like in unison, like,
that's that's I feel it, man.
Yeah. but I mean, like, Tim was super nice about it. Like, and the first thing he said during the first rehearsal was like, yeah, I don't want anyone to feel bad if there's anything, like that anybody feels uncomfortable with, like, we will change it, because I don't want this to be that kind of situation. So
he's a teacher, of course, also, right?
Yeah, but also, like, all of them were super nice about it. And I just asked them about a bunch of stuff afterwards and learned from them. So it was a really cool experience. I always loved playing with both of them. So yeah,
because Tim Miller's level is so. It's like he reminds me of Alan Holdsworth, right? Do you agree? Like that?
Yeah, but it's still a different approach. I think also, like, it's of course I see the resemblance, but they're also like very unique voices. But Tim taught me like about. I started thinking in versions of chords way more after like playing with him, and that opened up a new way of thinking about harmony also. And it's just like, and this is the thing, like with playing with musicians, if you ask questions, you usually learn a bunch of stuff. So
is that also why because you have Dirty Loops, which is your main band, right? But you're not shy doing other projects and playing with different musicians. Is that something you realize actually really thrive on that? Like,
I mean, that kind of, it's fun playing with those guys. You learn a lot, and it's also like, it's more improvised than Dirty Loops is, and it's something I enjoy doing also.
It's funny. I asked Jack Garner prior to this interview, do you have some inside info? And he said, well, playing with Tim must have been like being baptized in hell. Was it?
No, he's just, I don't know. He's a really cool guy. So,
but
the level is insane. But I remember like when we did the gig, when the drummer like he again did like a bunch of stuff, and I was lost during the gig, and I looked at Tim, and Tim was like. so then we like turned to the drummer.
Where's the one?
Oh, thanks.
You need the one sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
you do.
Well, it's funny because with Dirty Loops, that's such a different approach, right? I mean,
there I have a click all the time in my ear, so I never get lost, or sometimes still probably, but yeah, it's just turned out really loud. So when Aaron does stuff, I can. Don't. Yeah, okay.
Hey, Dirty Loops, it's of course to me a very interesting band, right? Because it's pop music, with so many layers and so much going on, and like, oh, are these just three guys? What? Huh? What am I trying to ask actually?
Like, how much backtracks we use? Kind of a lot.
Yeah. but maybe about the evolvement of that sound. Of course, you back in the day you played covers and all, right? But what made you gravitate towards that? Yeah, that kind of sound.
I guess when at that time I always liked the sound of Dirty Loops, and I think all of us like gravitated towards that. But it was really like back then it was something in school that was really looked down on, and that kind of fusion music from the early 90s was not like the hippest thing in 2008. It probably still isn't, but it was just I don't know, like it must have been the like geekiest way of doing a rebellion ever. But it's very much like less and more, and play what you feel, and like, oh yeah, this is what I feel. Take that, fuckers.
It's yeah. So because with school you mean conservatory, right?
Yeah. No, it was no. I don't think anyone else really played that thing back then. Yeah. I mean, people were nice. It's not, like that I did it to fight anyone, but it was still kind of like,
it's your version of punk then, so to say, in a way.
Yeah, it actually did offend a lot of people also. So like, I guess this is like what you need to do now. I always found it like really like, that people thought it was like too cheesy, so they got offended by it, which is like really, really funny to me. Like, I always thrived on that. Like,
that's what
like, I fucking hate these guys.
Yeah, but so did the three of you, because that must have been, yeah, but because that sound is so different than many other bands, and of course you have your inspirations and you can hear it. But if you're from that background in a conservatory where, I don't know, people want to play with Tim Miller, right? I mean,
yeah, but I think like it's still like closer to Tim's music, but it was more like jazzy and like acoustic sounding back then. I felt, it was. But I mean, like whatever people play there, I really liked that music as well. But it was, and it's also like stuff that I got influenced by a lot. But it was really the Kurt Rosenwinkel, Brad Mehldau, like this New York jazz thing, and also like a lot of free jazz was that was kind of what people did when I grew up, and I was like, I want to do this, but all of that is like, I really think they're fantastic musicians and. It's really great music, so I don't have anything against it at all. It's just I sucked at it.
Nah, you didn't. But it's interesting that you kind of went to become rebellious geeks, like you said.
Yeah.
Because what have you learned from your because you've known your Jonah and Aaron for a long time, right? What do you still learn from each other?
I don't know. It's usually Aaron writes a lot of the bass parts, and they're usually weird. So I mean, I have to learn to play those things, and but I don't know. Like it's not like that you learn in a new way as when you play with someone new where you don't understand anything of what they're doing, but then it's like. When you play together for a very long time, you develop a certain bond. That's a different thing as well. So I guess it's a little bit like that.
Are they like brothers to you?
Or? Yeah, in a way, yeah. I mean, we went through a lot together, so yeah definitely.
So because you mentioned because I forgot to ask, your brother is not playing professionally anymore. Like how did that come about? Can you? Because I'm just curious. Because he's really, if you listen to the album, I was like, whoa.
He's also really smart and got like a really good education and like does grown-up stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, he's always been smarter than me, like analytically. And I learned a bunch of that from him as well. And I still do, like I ask him about it, and he's my baby brother, but it's always like, yeah, how would you think about this? Like, oh yeah, I would probably do like this, but I'm not sure. But but that is usually like really great advice. But so he's doing other things now.
Okay, but it's you sometimes tend to downplay yourself. Like, I'm not that good, and I suck at this.
I mean, like, there's certain things that are my talents also. Like, I'm. I don't know, like in a way I don't give up, I keep going. And if there's something I become kind of like manic when I don't know things. And like, so that's a talent that I have, like that maybe others don't have. But I don't think, like that general talent. I mean, I have some, but it's not like, on a super high level with people that have great ears or great time. But as my technical abilities has always been like, that has always been pretty easy to develop for me. So
you can discuss about talent also, right? Because it can help you, but it can make you lazy also, right? I mean,
but I mean, like the part of problem solving and stuff like that, I guess that's kind of a talent as well that I'm good at. So and also approaching things from outside the box, I think I'm good at that as well. But it's just, I just think it would be lying saying that I have these great ears and I great time and a great sense of harmony. Like it's average, but I worked on it. So like it's
you're just somebody who likes to approach.
Yeah.
I just want the truth, honesty.
Yeah. So I mean, like I know that as a musician with that, I'm definitely above the average musicians, but I think talent-wise, I don't think I'm like that much above it. So that's why I think it's approachable or like achievable for a lot of people. It's just that you need to put the work in.
So you mentioned the word manic. A lot of players in this series say the word obsessed.
Yeah.
When did you really start to feel obsessed with the instrument? Like,
I don't know, like I'm a really sore loser, and I had other bass players when I went to like schools that got gigs that I didn't, and the first thing I did, like, they picked them over you. The first thing was like, no. Yeah, and that's also like a thing, because like with this like pettiness and envy, you could turn that into something good. So it's not like that I fantasize about breaking their fingers. It's like, I don't want to be worse than them. And that's like a goal. And it's the same thing, like when you kind of fuck up in situations, I don't want to be worse than people, and then I keep going back at it.
It's kind of I show them mentality, right?
I mean, like it's kind of like a toxic trait in a way, but I mean, like the way you approach it afterwards is that you kind of like make something good about it. So it's not, like when I feel that, I don't try to like direct it towards them and be like, oh yeah, but they probably suck at something else or whatever. But it's, like that's like fire for me to get better. So
reminds me, Aldi Meola told me he got kicked out of a band when he was young, and then he was like, I'm going to show them. That kind of like, maybe it's the same kind of thing, right? Like,
yeah, but it hasn't really been, like about these people were still my friends. I didn't want to, I didn't wish anything bad for them in that sense. But I just didn't want to be worse.
So when did that flame start to burn?
No, it's been there since I was 2, or
really?
Like when I got furious when I lost in game as kids and stuff like that. So really,
my son is the same birthday as you, so you can explain me everything about people born. I don't really believe in that stuff, by the way, but
me neither. But it's just like I always been competitive, and that's been a tool that I've been able to use for good, I think.
Hey, as for Dirty Loops, what are your plans?
We have like a project. I think it was supposed to be done this year. I think it will be done next year, honestly. But we have, I can't like tell it yet, but we're working on.
You can, but you just don't want.
Yeah, I can, but like I don't want to.
Can you like elaborate a little bit? Like, or is it something completely different, or?
Nah, I will show you when it's done. Otherwise, I tend to do this a lot. Like, we will have this thing, and we will be done by this, and then it's like really, what's the word? Joy calculation, or like, it's an unrealistic timeline goal.
But who gave you media training to not?
That is just like, I guess this is like better yourself, because I've done this so many times.
Shit, and now I have to interview you in this moment.
Yeah, like I want to keep that close to the chest, man. Yep.
But okay, Dirty Loops. But like I mentioned, you play with other musicians as well. Baby, can you tell me something about other plans, and perhaps you playing with other musicians, or are there none, perhaps?
Yeah, there's tons of plans.
No, don't tell me the same answer.
but it is kind of like that. But I mean, I can't really tell any of like the stuff now.
So cliffhanger. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But I mean, like I will put out more music this year.
Oh, you sound like a politician, right? Like, don't giving answers. I was like, oh.
No, but that's a promise. Like there will be more music coming out this year. So like I can say that with 100% certainty.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing forward to it. Thanks so much for your time, Henrik Linder.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight here in Eindhoven. And listeners also, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much.